This morning I'll talk with you for a while about military customs, courtesies, and traditions of the service. This subject will go with you all the way through your military career, be it 2 years or 20 years, because every day when we walk forth, same way with our uniforms, people evaluate us as officers, but also can we perform the military courtesies that are expected of us. Enlisted people go through rigorous training, basic training for a long time to learn how to salute, how to abide by the military courtesies and traditions. We get it real quick and a real short course in it, and it's important, I think, that we become real proficient in it in as short a period of time as possible. So today we'll talk about primarily saluting, but a lot of other things too. Some of these things are still very pertinent. Some of them you wonder why we do them, but they've just become traditions. Why do you think in society that we have things called courtesies? How did they ever get started in the beginning? Why did they ever get started? It's just a way of living with each other, getting along a little better. Over the years, I think the things developed because people says if we're polite, if we're courteous to each other, then the day-to-day grind is a little more palatable, a little more interesting, a little more easy to get along with each other. Mr. Emerson said this about it, and I thought it was pretty good. The oldest courtesy that we have in the military is saluting. And we need to be able to salute real well. If you happen to be the best brain surgeon in the world, and you left upstate New York or wherever you grew up and went down to the Appalachian area to practice medicine, and you didn't understand the native customs and traditions in that area, it might have some effect on the quality of medicine that you practiced in that area. Whereas if you got along with the folks, blended in with them a little better, it would be a lot easier. Well, in the military, it's important that we, as the medical people, blend in with the old traditions and customs. And saluting is the one that labels us right away as being different if we don't do it properly. So this morning we'll talk about how to salute. In fact, we'll go into a little kindergarten drill here later on, and each of us will get to try it with each other. And then when we go home and practice it this evening, as I know all of you will, and over the weekend, looking in the mirror and trying it a little bit so you're more comfortable with it, then you'll know some things that you want to do, and you'll know some things that you don't want to do by looking at each other. So when we salute, and we're not moving, we're standing still, the first thing we should do is stand at attention. And when we stand at attention, the heels have to be together. The heels have to be together. The feet at a 45-degree angle. The weight distributed evenly on both hips. Your hands should be cupped in this manner so that the last digit of the index finger and the thumb touch each other like so. And the thumb is parallel to the seam of your trousers or your skirt, as the case may be, in this manner. Then when you salute, all you want to do is take your right hand and touch this portion of your eyebrow with the last digit of your index finger. And as you bring your hand up to that position, extend your fingers so that they're parallel. The thumb is parallel to the index finger, like this. And you have a complete flat plane from the tip of this finger to the tip of this elbow. So as you bring your hand up, you form the flat plane with your arm, and you place your hand just by your eyebrow, on the edge of your eyebrow, in this manner, turning your hand down, like I have mine, a little bit, so that you don't have the palm of the hand showing, in this manner. To lower your hand, it's the most direct route back to your side. And that's very simple. Some things you want to watch for, to avoid, is the pup tent in the hand, the cupping of the hand, the palm up this way, the thumb left out because it's hazardous to your health, okay, or cupping the thumb underneath. And then your elbow. It's important that your elbow finds a comfortable position out here somewhere. instead of pulling it back and being all rigid and tense, you need to relax a little bit. Let that elbow find a place that's comfortable and feels good out here somewhere. Don't let it get so far out that you end up with a configuration like this, okay? So it should be flat. Okay. And then take your hand back down. If you wear glasses, you touch the edge of the frame approximately in the same place the edge of your eyebrow is. The edge of your eyebrow. Okay, what I would like to do now is for every other person to stand and face each other, and if it doesn't work out exactly perfect over here on the end, on the turn and face each other this way. I think it will. Now, it's much better that we laugh with each other here today and experiment with this little drill than Monday morning when we hit the street in uniform and Private Joe Blow is on the way to class and he looks at us and he thinks, let's see if the new officer knows how to salute, because they can tell we're new officers some way. I don't know what it is. Maybe our shoes squeak or something when we walk. Okay, if you would now, please stand up and let's try this. And we'll only do it half of the group at a time, okay? So the people facing, I'll say, my left wall over here, and I'll say, attention, present arms, and then I'll say, order arms after a few minutes. So the other people facing the other way then, talk to them about the things that we talked about. Is their hand cupped? Is their thumb folded underneath? Have they got their thumb in their eye? Or what's the problem? Okay? Okay. The people facing the left wall, my left wall, titch, hut, present, arms. Okay, now, other people talk to them. Does it look pretty good? Is the hand in the proper position?
Don't tilt your head. Don't tilt your arm.
Order, arms. Okay, real good. Now let's swap over and the other group try. Group, titch, hut, present, arms. How does that look? Talk to them a little bit. Yeah.
What you're doing is you do. Okay, you have to have your hand a little bit more on the performing glasses. Good. Now, anything you want to do is you can tilt it just down a little bit.
Okay, real good.
Just tilt it down.
Order, arms. Take your seats, please. Okay, some of the things that come up about saluting is, you know, my fingers don't really straighten out. My wrist is a little different than everybody. We know that, and we know that's going to happen, and you just do the best you can with it. You just do the best you can with it. I was enlisted for a little while, and we used to get a lot of fun out of walking along and seeing a new officer, and we'd salute with our left hand, or, you know, we'd act like we didn't see the officers coming along, so we act like we're real busy, and we look off and just see what had to happen. What would you do come Monday morning? You're a captain, major, what have you, and you meet Private Joe Blow, and he's just kind of looking off. He's already looked you right in the eyeball. You know he saw you. But what do? Well, you know, as officers, I guess we're supposed to do like they do in the movies and make a correction. And that's what we should do. For me, since I'm rather small and not real big and gruff, the best thing for me to do is just look at that person and say, hey, good morning, hi, how are you? Because really, a salute in the military is what it should be, is a way of saying hello in a military way. And that's the purpose of it. It has a lot more meaning than that, and it goes back in history, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. But it's a way of saying hello. It's a form of greeting. So the enlisted person or the junior person is supposed to salute first. When they don't, and we're walking along and we're meeting them, what do? Well, if you're real tough and gruff, you can put them at attention and say, you know, you're not doing what you're supposed to. Uncle Sam's paying you. Part of the job is saluting. You're not doing it. And besides, you're not being very courteous or polite. You're being rather rude. But for me, the best thing to do is when I see them is just to kind of catch their eye and with a nice loud voice say, good morning, how are you, or some appropriate greeting, and salute first. They get the idea, and then there's no problem with it. enlisted people or junior people that have been around for a while get really upset when we fail to salute when we should, because they look at us as being rude and not doing what we're paid to do. And if you've ever been through basic training and you fail to salute, there's a big sergeant that jumps out from behind a rock and he turns you into a green frog or something right on the spot, you know. So it's looked at by those folks a little differently than what it is to you and I. Okay, we talked about it being one of the oldest traditions. It started many years ago. And they say it goes all the way back to the days of old when knights were bold, and the knights would raise the visor on their steel helmet and say hello to someone that was a friend. They used their right hand because normally the right hand was the hand the weapon was held in. So they're saying, hey, hello, no weapon. They're showing friendship and trust by raising their visor on their helmet. And then on down through the years, society changed a little bit, and I guess the things changed on down with them, the way of saying hello. And not many folks wear hats anymore and tip them when they meet people on the street, but that was part of our heritage, the way it kind of came about. And on down through the years was a military leader that had a little black mustache, and he thought the proper way to salute was by holding his hand up in this manner. And that must not have been the proper way, because the things didn't work out too well for him. So in the military today, as we just talked about, the proper way to salute is very similar to what you see here. If your headgear has a bill or a protruding front on it, like a steel pot has a little part that turns out here, the steel helmet, if your baseball cap with your fatigues, you touch the bill of the hat, as this fellow's doing here. And if it's headgear without a bill, like the overseas hat or the lady's beret, you touch the eyebrow, as we talked about here a little earlier in class. Now, I mentioned before that it's the junior person's responsibility to initiate the salute and give a verbal greeting of some type, such as good morning, ma'am, or good morning, sir, good afternoon, good evening would be appropriate greetings. Sometimes you may run into someone, especially like at Fort Bragg, for example, and there are some strange folks in the world. They think they need to do something to create morale and esprit and what have you in their units, and they've got airborne wings and funny blouse boots and all this stuff with their Class A uniform, you know, and they react a little differently. A lot of them wear little funny berets of some type, and when they see you and their greeting is not hello or good morning, they scream real loud, airborne, as they salute. And they're not being disrespectful, but it's just that type of folks that think they have to do something to have a spree and what have you, keep their morale up. So what do you do whenever they yell this at you? You don't get insulted because they're screaming and hollering airborne at you. If you just want to let them know that you know what it's all about, just salute back and say, all the way. What does that all mean? I'm not real sure. I was in one unit that wanted you to shout, Gary Owens. And the reply back was how are you or something, I don't even remember. Why do units do that? I don't know. I think maybe it does add a little esprit. So if it happens to you, don't be upset by it. But normally it is just a good morning, good afternoon, and the proper title would be sir or ma'am, and works out pretty good that way. Okay, for those of you that have been in the service before, do we salute in civilian clothes? Since I've been in the service, they said, yes, we do, and then they say, no, we don't, and they go through these stages back and forth. Well, this year, there's no requirement, Army-wide, to salute in civilian clothes. If either party is in civilian clothes, you don't have to worry about saluting. But let me ask you something. If it's Saturday morning, and you're on post, and you've got your ski boat and getting ready to go skiing, and there's a general that you know and you see quite often and knows you, and the general's on the way to the tennis courts or the golf course, and you meet nose to nose, face to face out on the street, what do you do? What do you do? You say, good morning, General? That's not very appropriate, I don't think. You don't have to salute, but I probably would just out of habit. And the reason that it's okay. It's okay to salute at any time. It's a way of saying hello in a military way. We're not required to do it in civilian clothes. It's much better to salute when you don't have to than to fail to salute probably when you should. Okay? So if you're ever in doubt about whether you should salute or not salute, just salute. And relax and have a smile with it instead of saying, hey, it's something real bad and real distasteful. Because it's just really a greeting, a way of saying hello in a military way.